Digital first.
Hello to everyone who have joined us in this late afternoon for our discussion on dialogue clubs. I'm really glad so that I can greet you in the name of Digital First Consortium and in the name of Algebra Bernays University as a project coordinator of Digital First project. And the topic that is going to be discussed today is quite related to the project, but it certainly can be used in a variety of contexts. So we are really happy that all of you could have joined us today and that you can learn something new for your own personal practices. Today are here also support from All Digital, Selin, Sasha, and this two of them from All Digital, and three participants who are going to discuss a bit more today about dialogue clubs, Helena, Lidija, and Arjana, but I will present them a little bit later, a bit more in detail. We would like to begin with shortly just presenting you what our project is about to get familiar with some of the topics that are probably also going to be tackled a bit within the discussion of Lidija, Arjana, and Helena. I will begin by sharing my presentation. To see the full title of our project, I mentioned Digital First, but it's actually Digital Tech as the First Language, Informatics for Digital Natives. Quite a long title, but not less important, because what we want to achieve with this Erasmus Plus project is throughout 3 years. The project began in December 2023 and lasts until November 30th until 2026. So let's say we are halfway through. What we really want to achieve with the project is to bring informatics teaching to digital natives, to the children who are actually born with tablets, with phones, with PCs, and everything that is completely normal to them, to adapt all the teaching methods to teaching materials, ways of presenting the classes, and actually approaching to the children in a way that is much more acceptable to their level of understanding and learning. But not only this, we also want to equip them in a sense to really be aware of the world around them, to make connections within informatics, but what is also surrounding them in real life. So we have several activities on how we want to approach to this, let's say, really big aim and objective. We want to target primary and secondary schools across Europe, which means that our consortium is contributed and organized in a sense that we have 10 European countries which are trying to reach this goal throughout several activities. We will go through them a little bit later to see what is like linear approach to what are we trying to achieve within the project. But what is most important is that we really want to equip the current schools with what we are learning from them at this moment and with the knowledge that we have from the experts throughout the project consortium and outside of them to really bring schools to be more adapted and ready for the new levels of informatics teaching. As mentioned, we have lots of partners, 11 countries, 15 partners. You can see them here from Croatia, Spain, Lithuania, Finland, Slovenia, Portugal, Greece, Cyprus, Italy, Bulgaria, and Belgium. Quite a variety of organizations from primary to secondary schools, associations, institutes, NGOs. Actually, we also have one ministry from Slovenia, which we are really proud of because we are really aiming to tackle the policy level, not only in Slovenia but also broader, which really makes us a diverse consortium with, as I mentioned in the beginning, quite a big aim to achieve, which we are really hoping to get to after our project ends. What is maybe the most important aspect in achieving this aim is to move away with teaching of informatics in a traditional way. I always like to remember when I was in high school, which was now 15 years ago, I was taught binary numbers, so zeros and ones. And for me, it was like, I didn't understand what is the real purpose out of it, and what is maybe similar to some other countries, that is the way that is taught the informatics, the basics could be quite similar. But what we really want to hear to achieve is to see how this actually works. Why is this useful? To know for what Excel actually is used, how to be using it in real life, how can it serve its purpose in multiple surroundings and not only to their function that it really was created. This is a really plastic way of really bringing it closer, but we really want to see and understand how certain informatics aspects could be used in real life challenges. So as mentioned, it's a quite ambitious goal, but we already now, and let's say in the middle of our project, we see that this is possible. Some teachers are already doing this approach, but there are still teachers and schools who need extra support in it, and this is why we are here and we are trying to do our best to contribute to that aim. So what we really want to say is that the students should be active creators of the digital world, not only passive consumers, and to really understand for what informatics teaching and informatics structure is for them in real life. What are some of the activities that we are doing in the project is researching the current state. We were already finishing with this phase in one sense, because we have searched in the 10 European countries what is the informatics teachings, how are we teaching it, are we satisfied with it, what are the ways and teaching methods. And now the next steps are to see what can be used out of this knowledge that we have from the current state to be brought into teaching methods, teaching materials. And then the next steps out of that are defining competencies, piloting programs, and other activities that are quite related to and complementing the activities done so far. I intentionally skipped the dialogue clubs because this is something that you will be listening more about today. It's a method of including several stakeholders from teachers, parents, experts in informatics to hear how informatics can be taught, how are they, what are their thinkings about several functions which could be brought into informatics teaching, and how do they perceive it that it can be adjusted and improved in informatics classes. And here we can just emphasize a bit more why informatics as a subject is quite important. No matter if you are teaching it as a subject that is quite separate, or if you're integrating it into other subjects, because this is also quite often approached in different European countries, it is really, really important that we equip our children with the necessary knowledge to participate in the digital world, not only to consume it, but really to be involved in creating the digital world that is surrounding them, so that they are able to use internet, the digital tools really safely and critically. And this is what we are really trying to achieve with the project. When we've put here, we want for the children to recognize the bias in algorithms and how to critically evaluate the information on the internet. In that sense, not only children, but also our teachers and all of the participants in our community, because it's really important to emphasize the importance of that in the world that emerging technologies are really taking over, and critical thinking is something that should be very, very much stressed in everyday classes, but especially in informatics teaching. And I wouldn't go deeper into what we are discussing within the project, but it's the main point that we want to achieve is to move from that structural to functional approach. What I mentioned in the beginning, not to really be very strict with technical terms on what is happening in informatics, but rather to use informatics as in different perspectives, in different functions, to see how children can use it to express their personal opinions, to ask for certain things, to be aware of regulatory aspects, to know the ethical parts, to understand the laws within that, to be able to actually use all of the tools that informatics and technology is offering today, to be active, to be critical, and to really be relied on ethical morals and ethical ways of thinking and doing. Which is why one of the methods used in our project is, as mentioned, dialogue clubs. We don't want to only introduce different teaching methods in classes, but we also want to hear our stakeholders throughout the project to see how do they perceive this topic. And here we've mentioned some of the teaching methods used in classes, but I wouldn't go deeper into them because it's the most important part here to see how dialogue clubs can be used in your everyday life within different contexts, not necessarily related to the class, but also it can be, I suppose, a way of teaching that you can adapt even in your classes. And I would like to finish here with the final word, the words that digital natives, they're not adopters of the digital tech, they were born into the digital world. This means that we cannot approach them in the same way as we did students who were digital migrants, which is, let's say, a final word from our side and an opening sentence to our dialogue clubs and how are they contributing to this aim. And I would also like to invite you to try and to take a look at other activities that we are doing in the project, to check our website and our social media channels, and also to subscribe to our newsletter. Thank you so much for keeping up with this short overview. Before I give the floor to all other participants, I would like to also introduce them. So today, I've mentioned in the beginning, we have Lidija, Arjana, and Helena. Helena Valečić is also a teacher, trainer, and advisor. Arjana Blažić is a teacher, trainer, and EdTech consultant. And Lidija Kralj is an education analyst and advisor. So you really have a big palette of quite women experts here who can share the knowledge with you, not only about the dialogue clubs, but I'm certain about even broader topics. So feel free to enjoy the rest of the webinar, and also feel free to ask and comment in our chat section if anything you want to ask or give your impressions about. Enough from my side. Lidija, Helena, Arjana, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Let me just share our presentation. Yeah. I think you could see it now. Helena, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Lidija. Thank you, Lidija. Thank you, Maya. Hello, everybody. Now, Maya said some 15 years ago when she was in school, but back 40 years ago when I was in school, so for decades, foreign language instruction was heavily influenced by structuralism, as Maya said, a method focused on teaching grammar through study of sentence forms and the mechanics of language. Students learned how to conjugate verbs and construct sentences, but often found themselves unable to engage in meaningful conversation. By the 1980s, the limitations of this approach became evident, leading to a gradual shift towards functionalism, a teaching method that prioritizes the practical use of language and the meaning behind a sentence. Research shows that this shift has resulted in students. Yes?
Helena, sorry, but slides are not moving, at least not for me.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot to move this one.
Okay.
I just started to talk.
Good.
Yes, and
Go on.
now research from that shift shows that the result was very good. The students were not only more proficient in foreign languages, but also more engaged and satisfied with their language studies. So now, as Maya also said, a similar transformation is now needed in informatics education across Europe. Most primary and secondary schools still adhere to structuralist approach, where students learn how computers function, the rules governing IT applications, and how to assemble coding commands. However, this method leaves much to be desired. Students often struggle to find real-world applications for the skills they acquire resulting in lack of IT proficiency that extends beyond the classroom. They may learn to code or operate software, but these skills often remain isolated within the confines of school assignment. Today's children are digital natives surrounded by technology 24 hours a day for 7 days. Yet, without creative IT skills, they become passive consumers rather than active participants in the digital world. This passive consumption brings its own set of challenges, including vulnerability to misinformation, lack of digital literacy, and growing digital divide. Moreover, the burden on informatics teachers is immense. They must constantly keep up with rapidly evolving coding languages, computer architectures, and IT application, risking the teaching of outdated content if they fail to do so. So, the first 7 dialogue clubs in our project are dedicated to innovative pedagogical approaches, considering digital tech as the first language of digital natives and upgrading traditional approaches to teaching informatics with Holiday's 7 functions of a child's language. In digital clubs, pedagogical strategies to approach each of these functions in the classroom are discussed, as well as how to assess teaching results thus achieved. Here on this slide, you can see those 7 functions. And here also you can see a QR code which leads you to a platform with some questions. And I kindly ask you to answer the first question, to share your thoughts. It says, how do you see implementation of Holiday's functionalist approach in teaching informatics? Those initial clubs are followed by the feedback. We already have some. I'm sorry, I just lost a bit. Okay. So they are followed by feedback as a part of the consultations and improvement of the pedagogical strategies, which will be in the next phase piloted in about 20 schools in our countries. So now, what are digital clubs? So it is a particular feature of this project. It is formed in a series supporting cross-institutional collaboration of informatics teacher and possibly applicable to other issues as well, at national and European levels, of course, which will also be open to policymakers. Dialogue clubs are platforms to co-create a sustainable dialogue about teaching informatics. Of course, in dialogue clubs, we are focusing on teachers' evolving role and competencies. They provide motivating environment for exchanging ideas and co-creating new teaching approaches. And what is the most important, the goal is to gather opinions and ideas for implementing functional methodologies rather than validating fully developed proposals. And that is something that is different from other approaches. Now, as we already had some countries, it depends from country to country, but now we crossed the half of our dialogue clubs, and we have different participants. So, of course, we have participants with different expertise. We have teachers of course, informatics teachers, but also teachers from another subjects, school leaders, policymakers, education leaders, technology experts, teacher educators, and of course, parents who have experience and interest in teaching informatics. And you can see that the dialogue clubs are organized by partners in this project in those 10 countries that are mentioned here. Before I give the floor to Arjana, I would like to say I'm not, I'm biology teacher, I'm not informatics teacher, but I hope one day this method will be applied when talking about some changes of methodology in other subjects. So informatics the first, but I hope other subjects will also follow this method. So this is from my side. Now I invite Arjana to be more concrete than me.
Thank you. Thank you, Helena. Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm also one of those teachers that is not informatics teacher. I'm a language teacher, and this is really, really exciting for me to look how methodologies that we have been seeing are very successful in teaching languages can be used in teaching informatics. So it's really a great project that I am very happy to be participating in. And I would like to tell you now more about one of the dialogue clubs that we conducted in this project. And this targets the function that is called representational and informative function of digital technology. So what does it mean? When digital technology is used in a representational role, it means that it is used to relay, convey, or request factual information through digital tools. And it mirrors Halliday's idea of language as a means to represent reality, but also to convey, to exchange, to disseminate information about the world. And for example, when a child says the sky is blue, this is this representational informative function. So the child wants to convey some kind of information. So in our dialogue clubs, that was dialogue club number 2, with this topic, 149 participants from all the project partner countries participated. And the dialogue clubs were organized in the period between November 2024 and March 2025. Here in these photos, you can see some of the participants, teachers, parents, school leaders, and everybody who is interested in new methods of teaching informatics. Here on this slide, you can see the digipad boards that we used in the Croatian dialogue club number 2. And also there is this QR code, the same that Helena has already shared. But now, while I'm sharing with you the findings of our clubs in these 10 countries, I would also invite you to write your opinions, to write your ideas, or maybe even you want to share your experiences with us. So please write in the second column, which is dedicated to this function of digital technology. So let's look at the questions that we used in the dialogue clubs. First, we wanted to see how children organize and share information. Then what methods do they use to clarify different concepts, or what methods do they use to understand the information when they are using digital media, digital tools? And then we were interested in context. In what context do they use digital tools to explain this concept, and How can technology help them to be better in communicating with their peers and teachers and everybody else? So here are the findings about how our students in primary and secondary schools use digital technology for organizing and sharing information. And I would immediately start with the fact that they search information online using keywords, like we all do, but also look at this first box on the screen. They also used AI tools. So they even though they use AI tools, they are aware of the importance of using information from trusted sources and verifying content by checking multiple websites. Then they share materials via links in chats or different social media outlets or collaborative platforms. They like using emojis and GIFs and stickers so that they can visualize their content. And so very often visuals and aesthetics are prioritized over content. And but I have to say we also like visual representation. As you can see here on our slides, we have put quite a lot of emojis and icons. But we also think about the content. And then students, of course, value ease and immediacy, and so they often choose basic tools. They don't go in depth to learn more about them. There is slight difference between organizing and sharing practices between high school and students of younger age. So high school students create interactive projects and tutorials, and they also engage in peer review or maybe peer learning. You will see also in the as answers to next questions that peer learning is very important for them. And then younger students, they use presentations with animations and transitions. So what have we learned from these sharings? And what we have come up with some guidance and recommendations, strategies and methods for teachers. Like we would say that it is important to promote digital collaboration platforms, use cloud storage, encourage students to use e-portfolios where they can more easily organize their work. Then show them how to structure information. It is never enough teaching them to verify information they find online. Interactive media creation is very important. So learning by doing, showing them how to do something and then letting them create, encouraging them to create. Of course, modern expressions, if you want, you can do that. But also show them how they can achieve a balance between aesthetics and content in their presentation. So always it is important, I would say, show them how to organize and find their information. When it comes to the second question about the methods for enhancing understanding of information, again, AI tools are very important in the lives of our younger and older students. So we have to pay special attention to helping them be very critical about the use of AI. They often seek help from teachers via email or direct questions face-to-face. Teachers create tailored videos for them, especially for students with special needs. Students like engaging in discussions, and peer learning, again, is very important. Learning collaboratively through groups on WhatsApp, for example. Many students use WhatsApp to learn together. and then they like participating in different interactive activities. So really, it has to be very interactive. And I think it is also the same for us. We also want to be somehow much more engaged. And I hope you are engaged right now by writing in the on this DigiPad. Then what are some recommendations that we would say here in this second question? We have seen that it would be good to structure recommendations for younger and older students. For younger students, you see, it is important to introduce AI tools in a guided and age-appropriate way, and we have to be very, very careful and aware of the age limits, and we need to understand as teachers that many tools, AI tools out there, are not age-appropriate for students who are younger than 13, even students who are younger than 18. So again, I would point out that it is important for lower grades to create these spaces for discussions, use gamified learning and interactive tools as much as possible. For higher grades, again, AI, responsible use of AI, importance of critical thinking, double checking sources, especially now in the age of AI. Encourage students to be very, very creative. So show them how to do it, but then let them create their original content. Online collaboration, different initiatives like Safer Internet Day, or maybe eTwinning community where they can meet their peers so that they can learn how to collaborate even when they are at school. So it's again a lot about active participation. And the third question was about the context for explaining complex context. Many students use digital tools to visually break down complex topics in presentations or storytelling. They use collaborative platforms. Interactive learning is very important, and peer learning spaces. To me, it seems that it is a lot evolves around collaboration and peer learning from each other in different platforms. When it comes to technology that helps them with their understanding, again, AI tools, visual aids, and video conferencing, so that we can enable, and they want to be involved in international collaboration, which is, of course, great for language practice, cultural exchange, and communicative skills. Some guidance and recommendations that we would offer: visual storytelling, infographic creation, group work, hands-on digital experience. I think practical work, interaction, this is again also very visible in this question. Responsible AI use, and most importantly, to motivate students to explore digital tools independently, and so that they know how to use all these tools safely and responsibly. And now I would like to give the floor to Lidija. Lidija, tell us more about the instrumental function of digital technology.
Thank you, Arjana. Thank you, Helena, for introductory part. So this was for us fourth dialogue club. It focuses on instrumental function. So there we talked about how to express needs and desires, and in informatics, with technology, we are talking about how technology is used to fulfill some needs, obtain something. We talk about different platforms, Of course, dialogue clubs are not yet organized in all countries by March. So we had 99 participants in Dialogue Club 4 in our countries. Regarding the questions, we focused on how the children use digital tools to express their needs or requests or help in various scenarios, what problem-solving strategies they develop while using the tools to meet their needs, and how the children communicate those desires, needs, preferences through different digital interfaces and tools, and how effective they are. Here you can see a few screenshots from our dialogue clubs. What I could tell you that we had really vivid, passionate, polite, supportive discussion in dialogue clubs. It was excellent tool to create a safe environment for the teachers, for the professionals to discuss, to share example, to share dilemmas. And I'm really happy that we managed to establish that activity in all our 10 project partners countries. Here is, as Arjana also showed, the digipads we used in Croatian for discussion. I must say we doesn't record dialogue clubs. We use shared boards as a method for them to put some notes, to share ideas. So we have some notes afterwards, but not recording, which I think is also one of the options to create supportive, positive environments for discussion. So when we talk about instrumental functions, so first findings or first answers to the question is the children use various digital tools, different tools they use for the school and different for maybe personal communication, gaming experience. In gaming, they have direct questions, direct feedback, immediate exchange, and also they use maybe some gaming environments to also discuss things and topics connected with the school or personal. Different platforms are used for academic purposes, for learning assistance. Even use of virtual assistants were mentioned in the dialogue clubs. Communication, there are differences between formal and informal communication. So when they want to talk to the teachers, they usually use, let's say, old-fashioned ways of communication. So emails or a learning management system or virtual environments which are enabled within the school. But with the peers, they use different social media, messaging apps, and also video tutorials are mentioned as a way for supporting, for finding some solutions and ideas. Also, as a result of a dialogue clubs, we gathered some recommendations, similar as Arjana mentioned for the DC2. So the thing that mentioned a lot is balanced use of digital tools, supporting well-being, but also supporting emotion as a way of expressing their needs, desires, sharings. So again, encouraging open communication between students and trusted adults. Of course, ensure the students have access to discrete reporting systems if there are some issues of bullying. Healthy balance promoting. Then they also mentioned that, of course, if we want to enable, empower students, we have to help them learn and acquire digital competencies. And also, as Arjana mentioned, collaboration, peer learning, peer support is something they see in instrumental function as well. So educating students about digital etiquette, responsible online behavior, supporting and using collaborative projects, peer-to-peer learning, and using shareboard platforms and video calls mentioned here as well. Of course, as a part of those is supporting parents as well. So encourage parents to be more involved in raising the digital competencies of their child or their own. providing different resources for parents and the workshops for them as well, and also to recognize and acknowledge the preferences students have. So if they are like to use some of the platform and it is age appropriate, then why don't you embed it in your teaching and use different either social media, messaging apps, or other platforms they would like to see as a part of school education as well. Second question was targeting on how children use those tools for developing problem-solving strategies. So the findings told us that students like to collaborate with skilled or less skilled peers in real time, but also to share ideas, like we suggested to you to share ideas with us on a digipad, on some asynchronous way. Of course, supporting developing critical thinking, evaluating sources. Again, AI is popping out as validating AI-generated content through different resources. Then creative strategies, brainstorming, innovative solution, but also data analysis and digital tools for problem solving. Lots of colleagues mentioned they would like to put, or they used to put, students in environment where they have to try, make errors, find another solutions, try another approach, another resources, and come to the final result. But also when we talk about the collaboration, peer support, they talk also about how to develop emotional control to enhance decision making. Regarding the recommendations in this part, tech validation skills, come on, if you're going to use technology, please assess it, decide, is it appropriate? Will it guide us to the quality results? Is it good for this age and level of the students? Critical evaluation, peer assistance, and of course, use of different collaborative platforms depend on the school, depend on the activities, and of course, the age of the students. They emphasized creative and analytical thinking, because creative problem solving, especially nowadays when we have a lot of things happening with AI, said, okay, let's develop creativity through different tools and with different activities, but also incorporate data analysis, step-by-step problem-solving approaches, because such a problem-solving approaches could be used in different unknown situation afterwards, not just limited to learning or teaching informatics. Integration of AI, but very thoughtfully. Use it as a supplement, not as a replacement for a traditional problem-solving methods. And guide students by your example, by ideas, by the problems you put in front of them. Then they say effective teaching strategies, because if you would like to use some new approach, definitely we have to change some things in pedagogy, in didactic as well. I already mentioned encourage trial and error. Don't give students solution which is perfect and which work from a first step. Give them something to work on, to work hard to find a solution. They also mentioned combination on different subjects. This is one of the reasons I have Helena and Arjana today with me. By the way, I was teaching informatics, so at the end you have one proper teacher. But for this approach, I'm learning a lot from Helena, from Arjana, from different subjects, and how we together could build digital competencies, computational skills, other areas, informatics. And again, encourage healthy digital habits. Come on, digital is not always a solution. The third question was about the communication. So using different platforms in games, chats, expressing preferences in all modes and ways of communication, by the pictures, by the tags, by video or voice messages. And of course, when they're communicating towards the teacher, this is more structured, traditional, maybe old-fashioned way of communication. Students use different educational tools, practical application. They also mentioned using different Internet of Things, so like smartwatches for monitoring different health functions, heart rate, steps, practices, and so on. And of course, digital tools help students expressing themselves in a different activities, in different environment, but also they mentioned that reliance on digital platforms could overshadow face-to-face communication and could lead to misunderstanding and ambiguous messages. So regarding the recommendations in that area, effective digital communication, emotional control, again, encourage students to monitor their own behavior, follow the project guidelines, responsibility. Don't forget, yes, we are embedded in a digital world already right now, but please do promote face-to-face interactions, because this interpersonal communication is something we don't want to lose because of the digital technology. And it is also aim for teaching informatics to do that. So then different collaborative platforms, you could hear that some of the recommendations are already repeating because they answer different needs and different functions of teaching informatics. Fostering creativity, so for brainstorming, creative thinking, innovative problem solving, help students develop useful digital skills. Have that in mind. So purposeful, meaningful use of different digital technology, and maybe use some automated tools for providing instant feedback, or making some quizzes, some assessment, formative assessment activities as well. So I try to wrap up everything. So if you still have a time, we invite you to share your comments for our dialogue clubs topics, all 7 of them. If you would like, you could put your ideas on the digipad as well. There will be still some digital dialogue clubs in different countries. So if you have a wish to join us, join our discussions, please let us know. The Croatian team will have the last one next month, so feel free to join us. For all other things, please visit our project website, where you could find lots of articles already covering digital dialogue clubs in different countries, but also covering different topics from teaching, learning, informatics, and different methodological approach. With that, I would like to thank you. And Maya, will you wrap up the session?
Yes, but before I wrap it up, we do have a question in the Q&A section. So if one of you can reply to it.
Yes, let me see. The student is activated for assessment for learning and assessment as learning as possible to digital tools. It's only feasible using... Okay. Oh, I completely agree with the colleague. This is how you teach a student. That's how you evaluate and grade her or him. That means leading by example. But also, when we talk about assessment, don't teach for the test, please. Because if we teach for the test, then we doesn't teach for the real life. If we use some of our recommendations, like using collaborative platforms, working on a project solving approach, problem solving strategies developing, that also means that for assessment, you will use such a method. You won't give them paper test to see if she develops appropriate problem solving strategies. Within working with a team, you will give them a teamwork, a project work, and of course assess that as well. I wouldn't go further into the area of assessment. It's not, well, we didn't discuss it a lot in the dialogue clubs, let's say like that.
Thank you, Lidija. I hope that Slavica got her answer or her feedback that she was asking for. If anyone else also wants to add any additional comments, feel free to do so in chat, in Q&A, or even if you want to raise your hand so we can hear and see you. You're more than welcome. In the meantime, I would like to thank to Helena, to Lidija, to Arjana for providing such a well presentation and overview of our project aim as well, but more in depth about the functionalistic approach, but also what was happening in our dialogue clubs with an emphasis on the instrumental function, which was really a good glimpse of what is happening in other dialogue clubs. And one more thing that I would like to reflect on, despite that this is informatics topic, and also referring to the question in the Q&A section, I think that most of these approaches are not only not acceptable, but wanted to be seen in informatics, but in all other subjects as well, because we need to use all of these approaches in different subjects. I'm coming from the social part, like social studies, so it really can be used in multiple contexts. And certainly most of these things are going to be useful not only for the project, but as I said in the beginning, I hope you got something out of it for your own personal practices in schools and so on. Before we finish, Katarina raised her hand. Was that by mistake, or did you want to say something? Katarina Butković, but maybe that was a mistake, no? It was a mistake, okay. Good. Thank you a lot for your time, for taking the time and being here and listening to us. You can always reach out to Partners in Learning, either to Algebra Bernays University or anyone from the project consortium for additional information. So you can check out our project website and social media channels as mentioned before. And let's hope that we can see each other in some different contexts in the future, or even maybe collaborate together. So this is it from our side. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the day. Digital